I've been playing with the Battle Hardened Prism list for a few days now. I gotta say, I actually like this list. When I first looked at it, my initial impression, the first thing I said, the literal first thing I said was, how the fuck does this beat Bravo? I did not believe that this could beat Bravo. It can. It's difficult. You can do it. I've beaten some Guardians. So let's go into my thoughts on the deck list, because I think it's actually pretty good. This is a legit deck. So the idea is we are Luminar's Angel's Glow in every matchup. We are not playing Iris. We're not switchboarding into auras, which is, again, why I was like, how the heck do you beat Guardian? We're going to come to that in a minute. You're switching between Imperium Rapture in your, like, Ooga Booga Herald matchups, and then you're switching into... Oh, it's already up here. Vestige of Soul in the matchups that you can't just, like, monkey your hand into them. And you're playing more of a combo-style deck into them. I don't need to really go into the Herald side of the deck. Like, your Ooga Booga... Play your good 2-card hand, get a Figment. If you have a 3rd card, you get free value. Like, we've talked enough about Heralds. You guys know how that works. What's interesting is the other side of the deck. So what you're doing, let me switch over to one of those matchups so I can kind of show you. So you're running something like this, and then you're playing a bunch of setup permanent cards. You got Library, you've got Arclight Sentinel, you've got your Figments, Genesis, Merciful, Tome of Divinity, Passing Mirage, One Pierce Reality. I'm a little suspect on this One Pierce still. And what you're trying to do, and Celestial Reprimand, not really a setup card, but like it is for those matchups. And what you're doing is find a spot to take your stand. You're like, this is the turn that I go crazy. And you have this like ridiculous combo turn. One of the things that I've been doing that I don't know this is what you're supposed to do. This is me throwing shit at the wall and seeing what sticks and just experimenting with the deck. But what I've been doing is I find a spot to like crack my Halo and flip my Figment of Erudition, draw some cards, get down a couple permanents, try to get like an Arclight and a Genesis and or a Merciful down into play, and maybe I draw some cards with Tome, maybe I play the Library. Like, I'm trying to like use my Erudition and get down 2 permanents that turn, and one of them I find usually needs to be Arclight, so that way it protects the Erudition, and then I do it again next turn. And maybe because we're digging so many cards, like we're drawing our 4 cards, we're drawing another 2, we have Tomes, we have Genesis, like we're seeing a lot of cards very quickly, and it leads us to being able to find another Arclight. Because if you think about it, if let's say I set the first Arclight I see and then wait to go crazy, when I go to finally do that, I've seen a chunk of my deck already, so the likelihood of me finding my next Arclight is better than when I found my first one, because I've removed cards from my deck between now and then, and now I'm digging so many cards in that one turn. So the turn I go off, I'm digging through a lot of cards, then I draw up, then I draw some more cards, so it's very easy to find the second one. So then you do it again. You play your Arclight, you play some more permanents, and maybe you even do it again. That's happened to me. I've gone like Arclight, and just locked them out of the game for a couple turns. You just like vomit so much board state onto the table. Now, what I originally thought when I was looking at the deck list was, that's great and all, but you can only do that for a few turns, and your auras don't convert into damage. Like, your auras are just auras. You don't have a weapon that swings with them, so they're just going to pick off your Figments. Eventually, you'll go back to throwing 2 Heralds a turn. Like, how do you win from there? So you end up getting a decent amount of chip damage during those turns. You find spots to get some more chip damage throughout the game. Maybe they don't have a Pauper. Maybe you have a Celestial Reprimand. You're swinging your Angels, which are not efficient for them to block because they can't pop them. You're shooting them with Arcane with things like Ravages and Merciful. I find I also get like a lot of extra Spectral Shields, which you can then do shenanigans with Merciful at the end of the game. You still need to close the game. You can do things with like Celestial Cataclysm where you pitch those and then they come back around, and you just have this like burst of 21 damage with 3 cards plus whatever else you're holding. Like, you can just like also have a Herald at the end of that. Ideally something like an Erudition would be great, so you can go like Cataclysm, pitch Erudition, you don't have a hand anymore, I'm gonna draw 2 cards, throw another Herald. You can have this burst at the end of the game, and combining that with the chip damage that you're getting in other spots, it can win. You can beat Guardian. You basically just overwhelm them on board when you have that go crazy turn. Once you finish going crazy and you're back to playing the game normally, you have so much board state and you're so far ahead on like what you're doing that you then go back to like throw 2 heralds plus my angel. And if they want to say no blocks race you back, because that's also what I thought they would do. They just say, whatever, none of this matters. I'm just going to punch you in the mouth because you took all this damage to set this up. You're low now. If they want to do that, they're going to have to no blocks 2 heralds plus my angel. That's a lot of damage that they're saying no blocks to. And I might just block on the next turn, and I have an angel to prevent damage. I might have a soul shield. I'm probably going to have a bunch of spectrals in play as well from the Genesises that have been going burr. It makes it difficult for them to actually race you back from that spot, so it puts them in a spot where they feel like they're priced into just clearing board. It functions. It works. There's weaknesses with it, like getting disrupted trying to actually set up this big combo round. Like you're sitting on this Arclight potentially in Arsenal and you're waiting for the right hand to do it, and they just keep disrupting your Arsenal or something, and your hand just blocks for shit because it's all these instants and stuff. But when you do it, it's very powerful. My biggest thing with it is it's a little mechanically complicated doing it. It feels like a combo deck. I think once you learn the lines, it's probably going to be quite a bit easier, but just picking up the deck, it's very difficult. I don't know if it's necessarily good enough that it's worth like playing this at a high level. There's tech cards that people could probably play that like break this open, like a Time Snap Potion or something, I don't know, or Time Skipper Boots. My opinion on it is deck good. Deck functions. This is good. I think if you wanted to play this at your RTNs, you definitely could. You could play this and not feel embarrassed bringing this to your RTNs, and you could even win. Like this is a good deck. You can do it. I don't necessarily think this is a Pro Tour worthy deck. That's kind of like where I'm ranking it in power level. That it's doing powerful things, but it might not be good enough, and it is the juice worth the squeeze is basically kind of where I'm at with it. It's definitely better than where we've been at with Prism, where it was like dubious if this is even good. Like where I had Prism at before this, I was like, this is Armory level good. Like, you can play this at your Armory and not be embarrassed. Now this feels like it's ProQuest RTN good. If you brought this to a Pro Tour or Calling or Battle Hardened, whatever, I feel like you got to be a whiz at playing this deck, and you put a million reps in to get there with it. And even then, you need to get a bit lucky. I think you need to get some good matchups. You need things to go your way. You need your draws in the deck to line up a bit, because if they don't line up, like, what if all of your Arclights are at the bottom of your deck versus Bravo? You just lose. Like, there's things like that where you need things to break your way, and that's not necessarily a great spot to be for, like, a Pro Tour deck, where if you don't draw the right stuff and get the wrong matchups, why bring this? You know what I mean? But I give it a solid 2 thumbs up. Like, this deck is good. I recommend you guys try it out. I'll throw the link to the deck list in the description. If you want to hear more about it, go check out Push the Point. Hamish did an interview with, I believe his name is Rob, the guy that won the, I believe it was a Battle Hardened with this, which was what put it on the map initially. It was a great, like, hour-long interview. I listened to it. It was really good. Recommend checking that out. If you guys have any questions or thoughts or ways to improve on the deck list, throw it in the comments below. I'd love to hear it. We've been playing it on stream. If you guys want to join us on stream, I got a couple VODs up if you want to check out some gameplay of it. And other than that, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you guys.